Today we'll be studying the topic consumer credit, and then the unit is consumer credit, and the chapter is use of credit. So here we'll be studying the concept of credit and then the increased use of credit. Now we all have heard of the term credit a lot of times in our lives, but how credit differs for what we think of it and how it is being used so widely in today's world. So, what do you already know about credit is the first question that you need to ask us. And then let's study credit from a business man's point of view. And then we have to see that what is the relationship between credit card and credit in general. So, what is credit? Credit is buying something now, consuming something now, and paying for it later. So, credit is generally defined as a contractual agreement in which a borrower receives something of value now and agrees to repay the lender at a later date. The lender is the one who is giving you the loan, and receiver is the one, or the borrower is the one who is taking them. And then these are the points which you have to go through to understand uh, further about credit. Now let's look at the advantages and disadvantages of credit. From what it means to the buyer. So basically, credit when buyer receives credit or buys things on credit. So there are certain advantages for that. Buyer can buy immediately on credit. The goods can be bought immediately, which he could not have otherwise afforded. For example, if there's a sale going on and you want to buy something right now, but you do not have money, so instead of just waiting till the time you get the money, you can just buy the things now, and when you later get the money, you can repay. And then the payment can be postponed, and that has risen the living standard of many people who could not previously afford a lot of things can now afford things. The buyer does not have to carry large amount of goods, because when you know that you can buy things on credit and pay them later via maybe like you can transfer the amount online or go and pay them later, so you do not have to carry hefty amount all the time with you. In case of emergency needs can be met, if you want something right now, even if you cannot afford it, or you do not have money to buy it, still you can go buy it on credit. But there's certain, along with the advantages, there's certain disadvantages of this aspect as well. When we're talking about um, credit, so we have to see that interest would be charged. Some of the buyers might be unable to pay back due to financial constraints, and certain unfair conditions can be placed because that person knows that the person is in need, and the need can always be exploited. Now, when we look at the advantages and disadvantages of credit from the seller's point of view, we get to know that there would be an increased sale because a lot of people would be buying now on credit, and a lot of people who could not previously afford can afford the credit right now, so they'll be buying it, and then it would lead to consumer loyalty. People would feel more loyal towards that business because they feel like that business has been meeting their needs, and then it would also uh, keep them up in the competition world, the comparative world. And then it's going to be the disadvantage that certain people might not pay you back, which could lead to the bad debts. In order to keep a check on who has to pay, you have to maintain an account receivable, and that account receivable has to be uh, maintained by hiring certain experts of that, and experts have to be paid, so it's going to increase the overall cost. And then the credit risk with customers keeps on increasing, and if you do not have been paid, you're not being paid right now, then that would disturb the cash flows of the business, and then you constantly have to fund the account receivable. Now we'll be looking at certain key terms here. Creditworthiness is that how worthy you are of getting the loan, and that would be determined by your previous worthiness, like how you have been dealing with other transactions and how you have paid back your debt. And if you have in past, if you have been a bad debt, or not been, you do not have a good history of paying back the debt, then nobody would want to lend you any money. And then now we move on to credit card. Credit card basically is a plastic card that is being issued by the bank, in which you not do not necessarily have to have that equal to that amount in your bank, and you just buy things on credit from the bank would give you the credit, and you go buy things on credit, and then in a specific given period of time from the bank, you have to pay back that amount to the bank. This is it for today. If there's any question, you can ask me on the Google Classroom.